Live, so I am Rob of your experiences, how to get work.
Yes. Yes, thank you. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining. So I will today talk about how to contribute to openQA based on a small example that I did previously a couple of months ago, shortly after I joined the team. And yeah, I will, most or a lot of it is based on the contributing guide that is on GitHub. The link is here. I think we can also publish the Markdown slide that has all the links that I will show during the presentation. And yeah, with that, I think we can start. First of all, a little overview about what openQA is. It's a framework for testing the combination of operating systems and applications while simulating user inputs. And yeah, if you want to contribute, you can, for example, there's more, but you can improve the feature set, UI, UX, and yeah, stability, backend performance, and of course you can work on the test coverage from openQA itself, but also from the testing of openQA. And today, what we will look at is how to find an issue for openQA. There is progress what we're using. I will have a short look at that, and how to create a fork, and then we'll look at my short example PR and how I first the issue, then how I solved it, and how to create a PR at the end. And so first, how to find the issue. We are primarily using Progress for this. We have several different queries. I now chose to include these two. We have we in the team usually pick issues from the workable issues query, which you can see here. This usually just means that the ticket is well defined. So if you're looking for a problem that has a well-defined scope where you can see suggestions and yeah, motivation, everything is evaluated, and you can look in that query. And for beginner issues, we have a special query for that. This one is throughout the whole backlog, not just the next issues, since currently we have a lot of new joiners in the team. So the current issues that we're working on are, we barely have any, if we even have any beginner issues there. So this is the entire backlog of beginner issues workable. If you're curious, you can always look there. If you don't know where to start, that's maybe a good idea to look there. And yeah, if you might be used to GitHub issues, we also have those, but we primarily don't use those. We have an issues list. You can have a look in there. But yeah, that's maybe what you're used to from other projects. So we have a bunch of repositories. The main one, the backend that does the testing, is OS AutoEnst, and openQA is primarily the front end and surrounding processes. And yeah, we have several other repos that might be interesting to you, even more than they're listed on the slide. They're also listed in the contributing guides in more detail. For our example today, we will only need openQA. Oh, of course, now I pressed the wrong button. Yeah, so how to create a fork. I'm sure most of you are familiar with this. You fork the repo on GitHub. It's a simple button that says fork. You clone your fork locally to your local machine, and add the upstream, so you can pull from master, for example. And yeah, very important. Also have another look if you set up your development environment. There are some variables that you have to set global variables, like the openQA base tier you might need to set. And yeah, it's not a lot, but have a small look in there, and maybe you need to install dependencies depending on your operating system. For openSUSE, we have a package that combines all the dependencies. You just install the sudo zipper openQA -devel, and you're good to go. But there's also, there's a mentioned how to find the dependencies if you're on another system. And with that, we'll have a short look at my example. It's been a couple of months, but I had a short look yesterday again, so I could refresh my mind about it. So this is an example screenshot. It's cut off in the middle. I started an instance, so I can maybe show you a little better your localhost. So let me just, actually, you can already see that this square here is where the live view would be displayed, but it's currently not, since it's still waiting for the next picture. So once the page loads, it will display this rectangle until the first picture is received, which can take a while. Like you can see now, it looks like something is not going on right. So yeah, the issue is, let's maybe look at the issue and have a look. So this is how an issue would look. The subject is show that the openQA job is busy in the early state of running instead of empty live view and log. And here this similar screenshot and a description plus acceptance criteria is what's expected to be done for this to be resolved, plus some suggestions that the team collected during estimations. And yeah, while you're working on this, you can comment on the issue with the current state. And let's have another look. Now here's the picture is by now received, so now it looks like it's actually working. But this might be for the user might be irritating. Oh, there's the slide. Yeah, it might think that the live view feature is broken actually. So we should, the issue was to fix that, to have a spinner displayed there. And yeah, on how to find a solution about that, we suggest to go with a test-driven development approach, which is to first write a test that fails, that covers the expected behavior. But since the feature is not yet implemented, it will fail. Then the second step would be to implement that solution to make the test actually pass. And then to refactor and check if it still passes, and then you're good to go. So this is what we will do. So we first need to create a test, or of course you can create multiple tests. It would be good to not always create a new test file. So just grab or look in the test directory /t and /tui, depending on what you're working on. If there's already a test file that's similar to that, looks like it could be important for what you're working on, maybe you can just add a subtest in that file. It would make more sense than creating a new file in the most cases. So in our case, we have these small 2 subtests. The first one is checking if the loading animation is actually displayed. So we find the CSS, or actually here we click the button to go onto the live view. This is this button here. So the test goes there, and then it finds the element that is called live view loading. That's a CSS element. We'll see more about that in a second. And then it simply checks if it's displayed. And that's the first subtest. Whoops. And the second subtest is actually to see if it's not displayed anymore after the first image is displayed, to make sure that this is also working. And I won't go into detail on the code now. So adding the spinner itself, is this the right? Okay, I might have messed up the order there. Sorry, let me use the keys, that's better. So that's simple HTML. All I did was add this div live view loading, and within that we have a font awesome spinner element. We are actually using fork awesome, but it's the same more or less, up to minor details. But this is a simple spinner element I could have maybe, can I, well, if I circle or not, so we can go font also, it's already in the history. So this is the image, and it will spin because of FA minus spin. That will make it spin. Yeah, very simple. So let's have a look at the CSS. This is the live view loading element that we saw earlier. This is basically just positioning, and the Z index was important, so it's actually displayed on the front layer. So yeah, just centers the image, and yeah, that's all. So yeah, and the last thing is hiding the spinner once the image is actually loaded. So that once the first image will be loaded, we add, yeah, we stop displaying this live loading element. Yeah. And with that, we can also verify that it's working. For this, we just run the test file that we appended our tests to, our subtests. With -v, you get a verbose output. You can also run make tests to run the entire test suite. You can also run make test and then specify subtests in that way. So there are several different ways in which you can run tests. This is usually how I do it. We can create coverage reports locally, but this will also be done by the pipeline once you push your changes. And yeah, there's more in-depth testing commands and details on this in the contribution guide. But this is the basics. So yeah, once we verify this is all working and running, we can push our changes. So for this, we create a branch. We can also, of course, do this before we start development. Usually that's better. Then we make sure that the code is clean. It's just the formatting, like the indentation and stuff like that, will be fixed automatically by tidying. Then we add our changes, commit that. And for this, we have certain rules that we follow, which are mentioned in this blog post or website. It's pretty basic commit rules, like start with capital letter, present tense, have a blank line between the subject and the description, and yeah, basic commit rules. If you're interested, you can check that link, and make sure to add the progress issue link or any related information that's relevant to the issue within the commit. Because if you do that, once you push your changes and you create a pull request, which is, just enter this command and then click on the link that will be shown in the terminal. Once you do that, the commit message will be used automatically as the pull request message. So you don't have to do a whole lot more. Just open the pull request and then the team can have a look at it, or anyone can have a look at it and review it. And yeah, with that, we are pretty much done. We identified the issue. We used test-driven development to fix it and created a pull request. So yeah, that's mostly it on how to contribute to openQA in a short guide. So we have the full contributing guide here if you're interested. That's on GitHub. I will also, maybe real quickly before we go there, can just show you the spinning image. So I'll just go to the official OpenSUSE openQA instance, and yeah, actually, if I click on any test, as soon as the page loads, you will see the spinner image until the next image is received. So this is also, if I would now start a test, this would also be displayed until the first image is received, of course. And yeah, if I still have the local host open here, for example, if I restart the job, you will see here it won't show this spinner. But yeah, I think we don't have to wait for it. I think you believe me, you saw here you see the square. So that's the before and after. yeah, if you're interested in contributing, there's the contributing guide on GitHub. You just go to the openQA GitHub page, and then there's the developer guide. If you click on that, you will land here. And this is basically what I talked about, but in a lot more detail, and yeah, a lot more subject as well, about the setup of the development environment and what you have to pay attention to, and yeah, database stuff. All that good stuff is there. And there's the beginner-friendly issues list that I mentioned earlier. If you get the PDF, you can just click on the link, or in progress, there's also, I think, I'm not sure if I got it from here. I think I created the query myself, but yeah, we'll link the query. I'm sure that will be possible. Yeah, there's a blog post by Liv also on how to getting started with openQA development. If you're interested, you can have a look at that. It's a little old, 3 years by now, but yeah, it's also useful. And yeah, if you have any questions, you can always go onto our channel and ask. And yeah, I hope that was a little helpful, and hope could motivate a little bit to start contributing. And with that, thank you. That was it. If anyone has any questions, now's the time.
Thank you. That was a really nice motivational message. And also, I like that this real example. So, and then I have a how did how was it? What was maybe um, 90 working out and challenges that you know what tells you that what is problematic.
So yeah, it's been a while. So I think I had a issue with the test file itself at the beginning, where it was just failing on Tumbleweed, if I remember correctly, for this pull request. So we had to fix that first. I don't think there were real roadblocks on this issue that I can think of, to be honest. So what was fun is, I heard that we were using Font Awesome, so I just looked for a Font Awesome spinner at the time and was really happy to find one, and to also, because I never used it, never really heard of it before. And yeah, that was really easy to just plop it in, and it worked. Yeah, I wasn't too experienced with JavaScript, so I had to look into how to hide the spinner. Yeah, it's hard to remember now since it's a couple months by now, but
Well,
that's mostly it.
nothing left to mark that's clear after the side. So, um, in hindsight now, how did this help you? You know, you're still part of the how like
Well, yeah, just getting into the flow of how to use the tests, and how to develop itself, like the test-driven development. I wasn't used to that before, so I also was with this issue getting started using test-driven development. So yeah, it was helpful to get to learn that a little bit more. And yeah, just to did all those commands, like make test commands, make coverage commands, to get to use those. Yeah, I still use those regularly, so that was very helpful to get to know those. If I remember correctly, not on this issue.
I also
Yeah.
think in this area, because you test of the
Yeah.
code more likely to test trusts the old might not have behavior of dealing already working like the most challenging. So, can you say again in short, didn't somebody also try to ask their hands off after this?
No, go ahead. Definitely. Yeah. You can, whatever you wish for, you can start yourself, or even yeah, just draft something up, and we'll also be, we'll have a look, and yeah, we're not shy of helping if
Yes, that's a very good thing. So if it's rough idea, I don't think that I can completely bring it to an end. I can just sketch out. They're happy to draft for test and we will just support you. It might be that some hints how to go on. It might be that someone take over some parts of the work, like the coverage or some with other areas, or it might be that. I mean, it might also be that it's like, no, no, this idea is not really cool, but it's more likely that definitely will happen that we will provide good data. Okay. Anything else to add by anybody else? Anything more about you?
not right now. Yeah, as I said, I think we should be able to link the Markdown presentation as a PDF, so you can check the links that I showed if you're interested. Yeah.
That would be cool. So as well, progress page and just mention schedule. So there we go. Best with how variable operate worker set have some variables in like percentage reference. Now let's also worker settings to keep a variable and this very last step and with that we are at the end. Like that. Yeah.